We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Russell. Russell has some Rant's SR7010 set up for a 7.2.4 Atmos. When hooking it up, he decided to run pre-outs for the top front and top rear speakers to an old 7.1 Pioneer receiver he's using just as an external amp. He figured this would take a tiny bit of the amplifier load off the Rants. However, he was surprised when going through the setup menus for the Rants that there was no option for that speaker amp configuration, only an option to set the top backs to the external amps. He wasn't excited to climb back behind the equipment right then and there to reconfigure things, so decided to go ahead with the rest of the setup, and it all seemed to work just fine, including the Odyssey setup. He was getting sound through the top front speakers, and Odyssey seemed to set the right distances and levels. He's been running it this way for 6 months, and it still seems fine, but it's still nagging at him that things can't be quite right. Why would even have the amp setup options if the pre-outs for all the channels just work regardless of how you set them? Is it just so that the system can shut off the amps it doesn't need to use internally? Is he worrying over nothing? Well, if Odyssey set everything up correctly and you heard test tones to the proper speakers, yes, you're worrying about nothing. But to answer your question, I think that those pre-outs are hot like all the time.
They
and
are.
the only time that you have to select them is when there is an option. Like some of the pre-outs can be one or the other. So you need to tell it which one to send. So that's why it's working the way it should.
Yeah, this is a little bit of frame of mind that's actually coming into this. So first of all, you don't have anything to worry about. The SR7010, yes, all of its pre-outs are always sending out a signal. So you could connect 11 external amplifiers and just run things that way. That would be fine. That would work. You wouldn't have to set up anything. You could just collect 11 external amps and off you go. It'll power all 7.2.4 externally. This SR7010 has 9 amplifiers built in. Those 9 amplifiers are always going to be assigned to something. Now, you don't have to worry about it shutting amps off or something like that. Power is drawn from the amplifiers. It's not pushed out there into nothingness. So yeah, it has these 9 amplifiers built in. And the reason there is this option is because it has 9 amps built in, but it's capable of processing 11 speakers. So 2 of those speakers must be powered externally. There's no way to power all 11 of those speakers just with the SR7010 all by itself. So what that settings option is there for is to say which 2 out of the 11 speakers must be powered externally.
Right.
That's what that setting is there for. Optionally, you could power all 11 externally if you wanted to. So that's all it is. So in this case, you're saying, okay, my top backs must be powered externally, but everything else could be powered internally if I wanted to, or I could power them externally by connecting it to the pre-outs. I have that option.
Right.
Yeah, that's really all it is.
Yeah, there you go. So everything's fine. And
It is.
You don't have to check anything. You don't have to worry about it. And the most important thing here is this idea that amps get shut off. You know,
Right.
amp is basically a well of power that can be pulled from. If nothing pulls from it, it just sits there doing nothing. It's not off, but it's not doing anything, so it's essentially off. You know, the power is still in the transformer, it's in the capacitors, it's just sitting there doing nothing. So as long as you're not drawing any power from it, it is quote unquote off. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.